Today we're going to talk about the implications of our own power and the choice to make an earthquake with your presence. We're going to ask what it means to care deeply about the quality of the thoughts and feelings we have, assuming that to improve the nature of our thoughts will make a positive impact on our lives. Virtual church is the church of us, really. It's for us all. So do take the time to write me and let me know what's on your heart. My contact information is available at the end of this program, along with information to make a donation or to find family resources. I hope to hear from you. If you're enjoying our contemplative content, I hope you'll consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. For now, find a comfortable position, put all distractions away, and allow yourself to become open and curious about your own inner peace and that of the world. This time is for you.
Many Buddhist practitioners have questioned how to apply such teachings as mindfulness and loving kindness in these turbulent times. The modern world is in need of a spiritual perspective. Dharma practitioners who want to act in the sphere of politics must quiet their minds and open their hearts. Meditate. Turn off the news. Turn on Mozart. Walk through the forest or the mountains and begin to make yourselves peaceful. Make yourselves an example of peace and allow the sensitivity and compassion that grows from our interconnection to extend to all beings. If we're not peaceful, how can we create harmony in the world? If our own minds are not peaceful, how can we expect peace to come through the actions that we take? Through practice, we can learn to make our own hearts a place of peace and integrity. With a quiet mind and an open heart, we can sense the reality of interdependence. Inner and outer are not separate. Buddhist teachings explain that life cannot be divided into compartments. Our relationships with others, right speech, right action, right livelihood, are all part of the Eightfold Path. They are factors of enlightenment. Our relations and our society as a whole are expressions of the enlightened heart. Thus we can understand Gandhi's challenge. Those who say spirituality has nothing to do with politics, they do not know what spirituality really means.
This candle of joy is for the heck of it, for the sake that there is joy in the world in practically any corner you look. Of course, there's all the bad stuff too, but life is complex, and even amid destruction and chaos, there exist little pockets of compassion and joy. Never forget that. This candle of concern is for those who have the virus and don't yet know it, who perhaps haven't yet shown symptoms or who will perhaps never show any symptoms at all. We must remember that wearing masks in public spaces like grocery stores and those of other essential errands are less to protect ourselves than to protect others from a virus we may not even know we have. Insist people wear their masks in public, and be sure to wear one yourself so that we may all do our part to flatten the curve. This week's candle of special joy is for the Hearts in the Window campaign currently sweeping the world, and it's one in which we will be participating in ourselves as well. People are placing handmade hearts in their windows, yards, and fences to offer encouragement and hope during the global lockdown. They aren't selling anything, asking for anything, just promoting love and support. We'd like to receive your hearts for the sanctuary windows in the Fitchburg and Lancaster churches. Send them to First Church, P.O. Box 66, Lancaster, Massachusetts, 01523, and we'll put them up to show your support. I light this final candle for all the joys and concerns which remain in our hearts but are unspoken. All shall be well.
All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing.
I'm usually bad at self-discipline, to be honest. Things like daily affirmations and meditation are great advice. I often give it. But I'm human too. I am distractible and inefficient, forgetful, procrastinating, and very well-intentioned. Just like most of us. So it's difficult to find ways that actually manage to accomplish the very sincere desire I have to evolve spiritually during the course of my lifetime. I want to get better. I want to be more peaceful. I'm also busy and whatever. But a while back I heard a suggestion of a little daily grounding practice that I've actually managed to stick to. I thought I might as well share it. Perhaps you're like me in a lot of ways and just need to keep trying things until you find a little practice that's a good fit. So I set my phone to go off once a day during a time when I'm usually alone. That was the most important part. If it's set for the wrong time, I'll shut off the alarm and forget to do it. So it's better if it's during a time when I won't be so apt to put it off. For me, it's mid-morning. I set the alarm to a nice, pleasant tone. I like the sound of chimes. When the alarm goes off, I take a deep breath and close my eyes. I first touch a surface with both hands, like the edge of the seat I'm on or the surface of a table. I say to myself, thank you for the earth. I think of the earth for a moment, its shape, its beauty, its concerns, as well as its natural ability to regenerate itself if left alone. I give silent thanks for the earth. Then I put my palms together, hold my thumbs to my heart, and say to myself, thank you for the people. I picture people all over the world smiling, holding one another, helping one another, being together, helping even those who have caused harm to have peace. I give silent thanks for humanity. Then I move my hands up toward my face, touching my thumbs to my lips, and say to myself, thank you for the teachers. I think of all those who are educators of every kind, teaching and empowering, enriching humanity with their wisdom. I feel gratitude for those who share knowledge. I move my hands up to my forehead and allow my thumbs to graze the spot just above and between my eyes. I say to myself, thank you for the leaders. I picture all those in power, the prime ministers and presidents and dictators and CEOs and school principals, good or bad. I wish them peace and wisdom. I send them comfort and courage. I give thanks for all those who spread truth with calm reassurance. And finally, I move my hands to the top of my head and give thanks for God. I give thanks for the web that binds us one to another. I feel a sense of gratitude for whatever it is which animates our love for one another. I then cascade this back in the reverse. God, leaders, teachers, people, earth. Then one final breath of gratitude. It all takes just a minute or two when you're doing it on your own, but I always feel good afterward. Earth, humanity, teachers, leaders, God. Namaste. Make an earthquake of your presence. It's a phrase the devil once shared with the Old Testament character Job. Not the mythological devil, nor the literary Job. Just me and my buddy Kevin. I was in a rock musical in Toronto back in the mid-90s, playing the role of Job in a show called Job and the Snake. Kevin played the snake. He told me that he believed it was a Quaker aphorism, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So it's a phrase not of my own making, perhaps, but it is an important philosophy I hold closely. I will quote it as author and origin unknown for the time being. Think of it for a moment, though. Make an earthquake of your presence. It makes me think of walking into a room and emitting a shockwave of good energy, physically imperceptible, but deeply healing and inspirational on the cellular level. I picture choosing brighter colors, taking deeper breaths, climbing higher hills, making bigger leaps of faith. Make an earthquake of your presence. Hugging more warmly, loving more deeply, singing more loudly, laughing more. Having joy by causing it, knowing abundance by sharing it. Understand the way by living it. Make an earthquake of your presence. I think the idea makes an excellent mission statement, a job description. But now you have to consider whether or not you as an individual are possessing any power to share in the first place. Are you? Think of it this way. Do your prayers matter? I would say they definitely do. Even if you don't believe in the notion of a higher power, verbalizing your desires is part of the process of accomplishing them. Verbalizing positivity is like ringing a gong. The vibrations are felt first by the gong, and then by all within range of it. Even if you think you are utterly powerless, I want you to pretend like you're not. Fake it till you make it. I want you to have an idea in mind that you have a superpower of positivity which is bigger than your own ability to actually be positive on a daily basis. Sometimes superheroes falter. In practically every story, they second-guess themselves at least once. Even Jesus wondered at times if he was on the right path. The Buddha, too. They all have a moment of doubt, of questioning. They wonder if they are up to the task which faces them. Typically, there's a happy ending in superhero stories we share most because that's what we should believe about ourselves. That our power is always there, even when we doubt it. We are meant to believe, at least as evidenced by the stories we constantly tell ourselves, that we are in possession of something special. Something which animates us in ways that appear to be different from other animals on the planet, even if we do all possess consciousness of one form or another. Some force or attribute or secret ingredient distinctly separates us from other forms of life on this earth. We are set apart, not above or below other forms of life, but noticeably distinct. Is this a power we can only use for harm? Or to subjugate other life? Of course not. Just because some people use their specialness and for greed doesn't mean that it can't or isn't being used for good. Look for it. Acknowledge your divine spark. Whatever you choose to believe of it, there is a specialness about us which we don't have to pretend doesn't exist. And if that specialness is bigger than we have imagined, if it's more effective and more resonant than we have been led to believe, then it might stand to reason our lives would be improved by tapping into it. Now here's the quandary. How do we do it? We don't even know where the ignition to this car is. I'm sure many of us would gladly turn the key if only we knew where it was. When trying to tackle a spiritual concern of this kind, look for the level at which no argument can be made. For instance, in Unitarian Universalism, nearly all of us agree that we are connected in some way, that we are all one. But after that point, everybody has their own opinion about what being one generally means. through the idea that we are all connected in some way, however, and that we must rely upon one another in order to thrive, which generally means not pooping where you eat, so to speak, and perhaps even growing a garden rather than building a wall. We generally perceive that doing things to enhance our oneness, to get closer to one another and lift each other up, is probably a better way of using our time and talents. So where do we all agree on the idea that we have power? It's a good question. That's the level at which we should contemplate this issue. We're looking here for the point at which we all agree about our human specialness before diverging into our own opinions about the implications of it. I think we might be able to agree that our thoughts matter. Just that. Just consider whether or not you agree with that one little statement that our thoughts matter. Perhaps we can even agree to consider that positive thoughts tend to create more positive environments around us, even if only by increment. Let that thought sink in. Now, wonder what the implications of that thought might be. If thinking positively can, even slightly, alter our experience for the better, what might the cascade effect of that ongoing choice be over time? I want you to design an imaginary superhero costume for yourself. I want you to stand in your imagination, wearing it, fists on your hips, arms akimbo, head up, feet planted. A power pose of strength. I want you to picture a low, thrumming sound emanating from your body outwardly. Picture the waves being absorbed by people, animals, surfaces, walls, trees, mountains. Do these things feel your presence? Do they hear your resonance? Might the tree know that you love it? You know, I actually hugged a tree at the beginning of this outbreak for comfort. I only felt silly for a moment, until a wave of peace overtook me. Did I actually receive peace from the tree? Did it receive peace from me? All I know for certain is that I felt better. And I can only hope that the tree felt it too. Let us pray. Spirit of all which dwells in peace, bring to us now a measure of your presence, that we may share it with others. Give us the courage to face our own specialness with a truly realistic eye. Give us the fortitude to know and understand our own light. Give us the strength to look directly into the mirror to see what specialness is genuinely there. We struggle with the reality of being capable of more than we realize. We trip over the emotional baggage we carry with us, which would deny us everything but our misery, when we are so much more than that. Let us know more fully the divine spark, which holds more of our truth than we shall ever know. Amen. I hope you'll join us for next week's service on the exceptional value of hope. Even science has begun to show us some of its benefits. We'll explore some of the ways to maintain hope even when despair is all around us. In the meantime, before we spend our final moments relaxing through the postlude, I hope you'll consider the power you have and what you might do with it. I hope you'll see yourself as a walking gong of loving vibration and good mojo, as the masters would have it so. Until next time, be exceedingly well.